so other people can watch it.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yay, we're here, everyone. Hello. Lots of stuff came up for me today that I would love to talk about, including what we want, right? Like there seems to be an inclination to get deeper on why we're doing everything that we're doing. To almost like an inquisition, almost like questioning or interviewing, right? Like taking stock of everything that we're doing, being like, why am I doing this? Where is this pattern coming from? Or where is this choice coming from? Why am I choosing this? That sort of thing. And what I notice is a lot of things that I choose to do to give myself a semblance of safety, to ways that I make safety something that I seem to control, but I will always fail at making myself safe, you know? And we're talking about safety in terms of like the context of this dream of the world, right? Which is a very like the only constant in this dream of the world is change. That is the only constant in the dream is change, right? So there's a sense where there's no point in expecting or hoping for stability if the only constant is change, right? And at the same time, recognizing as we were created, right, as extensions of love, that safety was part of that extension, right? And you can look back at the belief of separation from God, right? If we believe that we're separate, it makes sense that we would not be safe, right? If I'm separate from God, that means I'm vulnerable. It's all up to me, right? I can't really trust anyone else because they're dangerous and unsafe, right? So I have to defend myself from other people. I have to try and protect myself. I have to, the list goes on of all of these ways that I need money to survive, et cetera, et cetera. All of these ways that we try to make ourselves safe. And recognizing that it's really stemming from that belief of separation from God, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So what I noticed for myself, two things. First of all, not to try and fight it, right? There's no point in being like, oh, just do the thing you're scared of, right? Because that would also be ego, right? Anytime we're really controlling or trying to subdue something, right? So it's like, oh no, I shouldn't be feeling afraid or scared, or I shouldn't be doing X, Y, and Z, right? That's a clue to be like, oh wait, actually, I totally should be feeling this way because there's something for me to learn from it, right? So there's nothing wrong with anything that we seem to be experiencing. We're not trying to bring gentle correction on the level of behavior or on the level of physical manifestation. There is no point in trying to change what is constantly changing because it's going to change, right? There's no point in trying to control what is constantly changing because it's out of your control, right? Yet we believe in what we make and create, right? So if I believe myself to be unsafe, that's what I'm going to continue to see, right? And basically dream that it's true, dream that it's real, right? But again, it's similar to perfection, where it's if I recognize in my creation I'm perfectly created, right? And I recognize in that statement alone, my perfection is not up to me. It was just how I was created. Recognizing I can neither make myself less perfect or more perfect because perfect is all that there is, right? And so this the way we shift this in our minds is saying, oh, if I believe that I am separate from God, if I believe that I am separate or somehow different, worse off or ruined, right? I'm somehow bad compared to when I was created by God as an extension of his being, right? That would mean that my safety is up to me, right? And I can either make myself safe or unsafe, as opposed to seeing the truth, I am always safe, right? But again, if I have this belief, right, not just the behavior, but the belief, my safety is up to me, right? I am unsafe. I'm going to be spending so much time and energy trying to make myself safe, right? Trying to make myself safe with money, around certain people, in relationships. Got to make sure that relationship always feels good. Otherwise, it means I am unsafe, right? The medicine for this is not to just convince yourself, oh, I'm safe, or I don't have to try and do those things, right? Acknowledge what is going on, but acknowledge why we're doing them, the root cause of why we're seeking out that safety in that relationship. Oh, I'm seeking out safety in my relationship because it will mean that I am acceptable, lovable, etc. Right? I'm seeking out safety and resources because then it means I'm a little bit less vulnerable to the world, right? But all of these things are temporary. The relationship could change at any time, resources could change at any time, right? So it's not if you want, yeah, they could keep going. Yeah, you're totally right.
Until the dream ends,
Until
until the dream ends, then you have to return everything anyways.
But where does it, so I have a question about that, right? Because what about circumstances out of your control? Right? Like in this dream, it seems to be a lot going on that is not up to you. So even if you're trying to be safe, right? It's like, oh, you're gonna put so much effort into trying to be safe, right? But it's not always gonna work, right?
because maybe a disaster comes.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Like
it's-
David said, we need to live one day at a time.
Yeah.
And think about tomorrow or
Yeah.
next tomorrow.
Yeah. But it's just recognizing that the idea of creating or of making security for yourself is essentially pointless.
Yeah.
Right?
Is what?
The conclusion of what I'd like to say is that your safety is already there. You are already safe because you're not who you think you are. You are already safe because you are not a body and a personality, vulnerable, destined to die. It's just not who you are, right? If you were a body that's vulnerable, destined to die, if you were that ego character, right, that finite character, it would make sense. I have to defend myself from other people. I have to have money. I need to have all of this. I need to try and make myself safe, right? Whereas what we practice a lot of times is recognizing when I feel unsafe or unstable or unlovable, right? If I feel guilty, any of these things, if I feel not perfect, right? Me trying to get any of those things, trying to retain my innocence by making someone else guilty, right? I don't want to be guilty, so I'm going to make you guilty, right? I'm going to pass the blame, right? But really, since we are all one, we're just making ourselves guilty again. Or, for example, I don't want to be imperfect, so I'm going to look at someone else and notice how they are imperfect. right? I'm gonna make them imperfect because I want to be perfect. It's all about comparison and changing how we're relating, right? So it's one of those things where it's recognizing the most we can do is seem to make a sense of relief. We have a guilty feeling or a guilty thought. We have a feeling of being unsafe, right? We have a feeling of being bad or wrong or any of these things, unlovable, right? And the most we can do in this dream, the most that we can make is a temporary relief from that feeling, right? It is a temporary relief of like, oh, I'm safe, right? But then the ego comes back up and says, for now, you're safe for now, you have to keep going, right?
They
Whereas-
about food and money and shelter.
Right.
Clothing and.
Right, and it's not just about physical safety, right? But the way that it really shows up is how we relate to other people. Right, like physical safety comes in, yeah, sure, right? But that's again a symptom of the deeper issue, right? So when we look at how we relate to others, because that really reflects how we see ourselves, how we relate to others directly reflects to how we see ourselves. Because once we recognize we are all one, if I see you as a limited, vulnerable body full of sin and bad vibes, right? Ultimately, what I'm saying is there is that part of me within myself that I don't want to have, right? I don't want to be bad and full of sin and unlovable and ugly and all of these things, right? And so I'm going to project it. I'm literally going to throw it outside of myself, right?
Tell that person is.
And say, oh, someone else is all of those things that I don't want to be, right? Because then I seem to feel safe, nice, good, all of these things, right? But when I recognize that person is me, there is no separation between us, right? There's a feeling of saying, oh, okay, well, if I'm seeing that person that way,
Here's my mom.
yeah,
You understand, this part where we are all one? We understand that? Okay. Because I don't know, it's the first time, right?
yeah. If you have any questions or comments, feel free
Oh,
to
yeah, no,
murmur.
so I learned that, or the biggest lesson is to let everyone speak and hear, and then be the last to, always be the last to speak. It's really hard to do, but get everybody's hear everybody's opinions and give everyone a chance to speak, and then I take that information and.
Synthesize.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, you can follow that if you want to, but also if you have any comments in the middle, because we'll probably change topics and stuff. So it's not as yeah. Anyway, so the way that we actually again, the only error is in perception. Right? So the only error is in not seeing the situation clearly. The situation is totally objective, everything's perfect. Right? It is only when you have a subjective or perception basis that says something could be wrong or right. Right? So the only error is in perception when we're not seeing things clearly. So if I am looking at a situation and I am perceiving that I am not safe, right? I'd say, oh, there's something that I'm not seeing clearly. Because I know the truth about myself as an extension of God's love, as one with all, right? Is safe.
And that all has to tie in, so we all have trauma
Mhm.
differently, some. Our experiences with trauma, some may be more severe than others. But it's just like if you take a step back and try to understand. That we all have it, but it's just like
Different flavors.
different flavors, some are, like I said, more distinctive and just distasteful than others. But it's like, that's what I see as a lesson, but also in terms of like. To share your experiences and to help others. Of what you know, whether it be like, it's not about comparing, it's about like knowledge. So there's like, I had a, so in my military experience, I have like trauma in that sense, so that's like in separate world from civilians. And being able, they taught me everything to, they trained me very well to handle severe, you know, like intense training. But they didn't really train, they never even trained me to come back, to civilian adapt with what I experienced. But there's this story where soldier stuck in a hole. He got himself stuck. And so he yells for help. And NCO comes by, a non-commissioned officer, he's like, suck it up, son. And dig deeper. So he hands the poor soldier a shovel. And the soldier digs deep. And then lieutenant comes by, says, the hell, son, use the tools your NCO gave you. And just keep going, so he hands the soldier a bucket. But this hole still there, he gets deeper even with the tools he was provided. And then a psychiatrist comes by and offers the soldier some drugs. You know, he's like, here, son, here, take these pills, they'll help you forget about the hole. And they do, they do make you forget about the hole. But then the pills run out. So then there's this beat up soldier. He hears this, screams for help. He's like, you know, like, how do you get down there? And the beat up, torn up soldier jumps in the hole. And the young soldier's like, what the hell? Now we're both stuck in the hole. And the filthy soldier just smiles and says, don't worry, man. I've been here before. I know how to get out. So that's what I see as in terms of trauma. So like with this, how things are, I try to help best to like, I've been some pretty, I use my trauma to be like, yeah, I can relate to what you've kind of been through and I can help you get out. In terms of like, that's how I had learned on my own when I was like, I was super, like, I just wish someone, I was screaming for help, no one came. So I'm trying to replace that and be like, when I hear scream for help, I'm like, that's when I wish I needed it. So I'm just like, here I am.
Yeah,
And that's where I take the scripture of book of Isaiah chapter 6. He's then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, who shall I send?
Send me, yeah.
And I said, here am I. Send me, I'll go.
Volunteer with that.
Exactly, and that's what I did in my terms of service of when I enlisted. And it's yeah, in terms of send me, and I did help,
yeah,
but there's like, I just started opening up and I'm taking little baby steps, it just looks baby steps, like, you don't have to unload your whole package and be like, just be like, hey, no, all you have to do is be like, hey, when someone asks me, how are you? Like, like, or how are you doing? And I was like, I'm not doing great. You know, I'm quiet today. I experienced trauma in the past, but I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, let people know, so you're not just like,
Yeah,
yeah, if you let that, if you share the load, like, I. I got a very heavy pack, I volunteered to put on that pack. Sometimes trauma happens, so it's just like. But that pack is like, you have to share it, don't carry everything. Just like what we're doing now, you're unloading a little bit, sharing load, so
yeah,
it's less.
that's what a family and a community
Yep,
does.
exactly, that's
Instead of
what,
having one person carry all the weight, hey, let's share that backpack. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there.
exactly.
And
That's
then we
what,
all have our backpacks and we can all like help each other out, you know?
that's what we're doing.
The work of many makes it easier.
Exactly.
And more enjoyable and with company. Kind of like going for a hike together by yourself, it's one experience. With somebody else, you get to share it. It's like, hey, did you see that? Oh, cool, so you get to see the joy of the other person.
And it's okay
Yeah.
to be. Alone sometimes, you know. It's very uncomfortable, and when people see that discomfort with distraction, well, that's where it can get dangerous. I've been down that hole, I got stuck in that hole for a bit with addiction. And it's so easy to access addiction, to dopamine, like our phones are, that's the easiest. Most, one we cannot avoid, because, it's technology, but it's like. Yeah, it's, for me, I try to, yeah, well, I'm stuck with it, I'm happy, like, but at the end of the night, it's just like, it is uncomfortable, but that's okay, like. I see it as like, your adventure finding. It's like a voyage of sea, like you're not like, you don't have a destination, you're gonna be sailing uncharted waters. Of possibilities. The shores, and it's just like, yeah, you'll be on, There's gonna be really rough waves, but it's like. You don't know where you're going, that's the adventure, but once you reach that destination, you'll know. You'll know, but it's like you'll be sailing in uncharted waters. Until you get to the island of your goal, which you're trying to get to. But again, there's gonna be rough waves, and bad days. Sometimes you gotta plug the leaks. Or, like I said, share the load, and that means you'll pick up like things along the way to help you learn. And keep going. But it's just like, just keep sailing, but.
Yeah.
Quando vedevo se si sentiva comfortable, in quale occasione? Rimane
Sentimenti, credo, dei sentimenti.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
quando era lì nel militare.
no. Con la sua storia, certi sentimenti o certe cose, fanno sentire uncomfortable.
So when you were in combat,
You don't have to answer that.
So, yeah, with my. I never seen combat. I mainly seen, yeah, it helps, I just got enrolled with the VA and my story's tough in terms of like. Freighting accidents and, witnessing a lot of, suicidal ideation and to the points of actual. To build up to the actual suicide that I witnessed. And they made it very. So I'm in actually group therapy with other veterans. They seem, like I said, other people have trauma, like more than I. So it's kind of like tough to. It's more awkward, but actually. Talking about carrying the load, but it's like they seem combat. That's what mostly you, the whole like ideal for like when, oh yeah, when you hear PTSD with military, it's like, you think immediately combat, and that's what I thought. So it's just like trying to compare like those who were in Desert Storm, Vietnam, where all these soldiers, like veterans that we come together, it's like, hey, my situation is a little different, where mine was happening in a training scenario. Where in combat, it's like, something's special, it's predictable, for me, my situation was unpredictable, it just happened. And it was very traumatizing in that way, it's like. This is supposed to be a safe place. But it's also, there's that very. Hint of this disaster and something that I wish. It just kind of like catches out now. Sort of like when 9/11 happened, like we didn't know that kind of fear and trauma. That exactly I was just wanting to help others. So it's very uncomfortable of saying like, you know, like when hearing thank you for your service, in terms of like I could have done more to prevent this, and I know we all relate to that. It's like, hey, let's go back. If I prevent it next one, but that's where I learned acceptance, and that's the first step is accept and forgive. And be like, hey, no matter what you could have done, still happened that way, and it's like you did the best you could. Because I just knowing it's also it's like if you've gone through trauma, no one would my situation, no one believed me. Because I didn't document it. Because I was just scared to give cycles, so they made a fear of not disclosing anything, so I just carried that for a while. And I was after a yeah, it's very tough. But also made me stronger. I think everybody. Yeah, I was scared. Because when that trauma happened, I couldn't go home. I didn't. I was stuck at the place where the trauma happened, so I was there for another 6 months. Reliving that and just surviving at that point, so I very got desensitized to it. So I, my brain in surviving mode, but coming back, that's when I just kind of blocked it out. So it's been 5 years until I started opening up, and that's what I'm doing. Today's actually day 3 of doing that, so it's
Wow.
that's why I'm very calm. It's weird. It's like it got me ready for like, it's like they got you ready for war, but they didn't get you ready for Walmart. I thought that was pretty funny because
Yeah.
when I see like someone had a medical emergency, like we're at the gym or whatnot, and they just collapsed, like just they have like a medical emergency, and they're just like calm. Because of the trauma I've seen, it's just like that's what I was trained and had to desensitize my brain too. So when those situations come, I'm just like super calm, handle it super well. But when something goes wrong, like I miss my keys, find my keys, or I drop a pickle jar, I get so like I just lose it. I feel I get so angry. I'm like I recognize that, and I told why am I feeling this way? Like why am I calm with those two? Yeah, they don't bridge the gap. So when I was in that situation, it actually bouncing back to me. So I try to. Like, like, teach others, like, I know the world's not great right now, and I feel so. Bad, but it's just like what we're doing now is helping, I help. Just give love, help others, I wouldn't just like. I know it's a lot to take in, but you got all these responsibilities, I do too, but it's just like. Take it one break at a time, one step at a time, like, what's your next step? What's your next move? And that's how you get through the day, it's like, but make the right choices, like if you. You don't have to do it alone. I did it alone.
Yeah.
Not because I wanted to, it's because I just,
That's what you mean.
that's what I.
And so with spirituality, or these talks of searching for something deeper or searching for a truth of who we are. I feel like once you know the truth, you get that help. You also understand there's so many people who want to help you. And there is the one who started everything that wants to help you, always wants to help. And all they need is just somebody to say, please help me. I'm willing to receive some help. That's all they need to hear, like, oh, here we go, let's help, you know?
Chiedete sarà dato.
Yeah, ask and you shall receive.
It's like,
literally it's like that.
everybody wants to ask for help, it's just like, we don't know how to.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
that's why. I was stubborn, like I didn't know how to ask for help from. Spiritually,
Yeah.
but that's when it. When I reached rock bottom. And rock bottom wasn't, the worst. Worst moment of my life, it was. Chance of change, the only way was, rock bottom wasn't just. The only way was up.
yeah,
I could stay there, give up, and nothing like, if you don't wanna wake up, what do you got to lose? And I took that personally, I was like. Okay, that's why routine is very, I rely on routine.
Mhm.
Um, and the grind, I know it gets tiring, but it's like. Um. Routine makes me just like. Makes me feel like I got a purpose,
yeah,
just like making your bed. Every single morning, I was trained to do that, but it's just like, hey. That's where if you can watch this video on YouTube is there's a. Um. I'm not sure what his rank was, but he was in the. It's a story about the making your bed, like, that's the first thing you do, and if you can make your bed. You can do the next task,
He was
and the
an
next and the
admiral.
next, and if like you do all those tasks and we have a really shitty day. Go home to a nice made bed instead.
Mhm.
And I love that. Point of
nice.
view because, like. But ever since I. Uh. um, Reached out and back on track with spiritually,
Yeah,
I'm grounded. It's like, yeah, there's bad days, like, or bad moments throughout the day, but like I said, it's like, I feel like since I got back on track. It's been a drop each night. Like, yeah, you had bad moments, but it's not like. You pray and still look towards. What did happen that was good today, like the conversation, that makes it a draw, It could have been worse, like, I think it's just like spiritually, you just. Makes you blinded, so it's just like comes a. Blindfold over your eyes, you just see the negatives outweigh the positives, but if you. Turn yourself spiritually, you can see the positives and be like, that's what makes a draw. And gives you hope that, hey, that was good, great conversation. I'm gonna do that again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, until
Mhm.
it's better, until you meet. Because at the end goal is love,
Mhm.
and love is what I learned, there's a lot of betrayal, there's like, it hurts. because love is so precious, but it can be scary, like afraid to. Like, it's very, goes both ways, and that's what. Love it, it's like can lead to.
It seems
Betrayal,
that,
anger, it can make.
it seems that way, but betrayal is totally different than love.
Yeah.
Right? So betrayal is stemming from this idea of separation again, right? Love, something that is all encompassing, can have no opposite. Right? So it's just recognizing we always have the choice between love and fear. And if someone is behaving in a way that seems like betrayal or hurtful, or it seems like a lack of love, all that they're doing is expressing from a place of fear.
Yeah, but that's where,
But
And
no, but in reality, no lack of love is possible, right? Like the lack of love that seems to be happening is stemming from us, like identifying with the situation, if that makes sense. But what were you gonna say?
no, that's right, and I think I just. Due to all those, like that, what that might have been love or not, I got, became so rare, so it became, was so uncommon, like the signals and signs, so it's just like, I didn't know what to look out for, so it just seems. Like a new, like, feeling, like,
Yeah.
experience, so it's like, it's like. Shoot. It's like, yeah, uncommon, so it's like you're scared, but you're also curious, but also,
About love.
yes.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it's most important thing. For me, it feels like you just got afraid and just like train yourself to open up again and accept love, because I have to accept that again, because it's just like, hey, this is, whoa, like.
Yeah.
You're feeling that's good, it's like, one, that's where the touch comes in, it's like. Hugging, I was not good, but I'm getting better at that. It's like. I had trouble being uncomfortably touched, so it's just like. As long as I get like consent and that's it, like
Yeah.
then it's fine. But it's just like if like someone. You don't know how everyone's gonna react, so it's just like if someone like bro tap on the shoulder, I get freaked out.
Yeah, no.
So, but if like. So. Yeah, that type of love, it's like you gotta, it's there, it's like you go both ways.
Yeah.
It's just like.
Yeah, it seems like that. I think it's tough because again, it's all kind of about perception and interpretation, you know. But there is a way that we seem to defend ourselves against love because we think it could lead to vulnerability,
Exactly.
right? So there's like a defense against love because it's like, oh, this means I'm vulnerable. If I'm vulnerable to love, I'm vulnerable to hate. Or if I'm vulnerable to love, I'm vulnerable to betrayal. Right? But that's not how love actually works, right? It seems to be that way.
Yeah.
With the story of the ego and all of these things. But the way love works, again, what is all encompassing can have no opposite, right?
It only knows love.
Love
So
only
God
knows
doesn't
love.
love. He cannot judge you, he cannot throw you away.
There's no betrayal.
From everybody else, there is no betrayal, he's always waiting. There's three scriptures, Psalms 55:22. Cast your burden on the Lord and he will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. But in this, I'm gonna go a little bit further. He doesn't permit anybody, like he loves all of them. Even if somebody thinks he's not righteous, he's still loving that person. He loves all. There is no judgment that comes from him. And then 1 Peter 5:7, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. And then Matthew 11:28, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. This is the kind of God, that exists. That's the truth. Is that he's welcoming everybody. And not just the ones we think are righteous. It's anybody who's willing and ready. Yeah, and. Then the more we know is that we found out, we find out that we make it all in our head. The judgment, the whole story of righteous, unrighteous, pure, unpure.
Unlovable,
Unlovable,
lovable, like the
lovable.
comparisons.
We made it all up. It's the humans, not the humans, it's the ego thought. When the spirit decided to think in ego.
The mind, yeah.
Or the mind of the
Yeah.
spirit, yeah.
Yeah, but it's tricky. I
Yeah.
think it comes down, what we really focus on is looking at someone beyond the story, right? Looking at someone beyond the narrative and the identity that only exists within this dream, right? And seeing, and in doing so, we're able to see each other's perfection, right? Like I'm able to look at you, for example, beyond your stories of trauma, right? And see you at peace, right? And in doing so, I recognize this existence for you, right? Like this possibility for you. And I'm willing to see you that way, right? And it's not about denying your experience at all, right? I'm not here to say, oh, that didn't happen, don't worry about it. Like, this is all your own adventure, right? But when I see you, it is a clean slate
Yeah, seeing who
Right.
we really are.
with total
Which is
love,
fair.
not something, it's not a love or it's not a kind of relating based off of the stories that we have about each other, or that we have about ourselves.
And
Right?
I found grounding yourself spiritually and my adventure, it makes it means freedom.
Yeah,
And I love it. That's why I stood for what I fought for, what I believed in. Where it be just what I wanted to protect and everything else, it's freedom. But it's
can you hand me a seltzer from under the
think
door?
about like like every hero, or just like favorite book or movie or TV show, whatever. It's like if you look at the hero, he had like I'm sorry, he wasn't born a hero. It's the trauma that got him to be able, that's why we like heroes, because they're like willing to face their fear. And that's how you gotta kind of ground yourself with, it's like you're the hero of your own story. It might not be what you think it
It's
is.
your choice.
Is
Yeah,
that a-
choice is how you're gonna see things, right? And that's that's exactly what you're talking about. The hero is able to look at their story and say, oh, let me shine a light on some of these things, right? And what happens when we shine a light on things, right? Like there is this fear initially of, oh, I have this trauma or this shadowy part of myself. And if it comes up to light, it's gonna be so hideous.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, we got it, thank you.
It's gonna be so hideous and ugly. I can never let this dark part of myself come up, right? Because it's so scary. And then it comes up, and what happens when you shine a light on a shadow? The light just spreads to the shadow, right? So these traumas and these like shadowy parts and these uncomfortable thoughts and feelings, right? When we actually bring them to the light, they become light.
Bringing.
So when we're-
Is bringing them to the truth.
Yeah,
Listening to these voices, listening to this darkness, these thoughts. And then you, when they're done talking, when they're done sharing their feeling and their experience, then you tell them the truth, and then you say like, you don't need to worry. Because here's the truth and here's the reality, you are eternal. and you are actually me, you know? It's like, because that voice, it's everything, it's you, it always comes from you,
Yeah.
you know?
But and again,
It's pretty interesting.
you can think, I have a great tool for this that I'll share, but really quick, when you think about something, right? Like we think about the word light in two different ways. Literally light, being illuminated. But then also you think about the path that you're carrying,
Like,
right? It literally gets lighter every time you bring some of this darkness up and witness it and love it.
Exactly, light is the only thing that can get rid of darkness. And
Right.
it's just like light. If you look at the speed of light, it is, you can see it for miles and miles. In complete darkness, so that's why there's a sinking light at the end of the tunnel,
Yeah.
but also you're not light too, so it's like you can. Light's the only way to, you can stay in darkness,
Yeah.
but it's cold,
Yeah.
it's not fun.
Yeah. It feels heavy. Yeah.
Very
Because
uncomfortable.
and these feelings are uncomfortable because they are unnatural to you.
Mhm.
If these feelings were your natural state, you would think that they would feel comfortable, right? You would be comfortable being depressed and traumatized and sad and all of these things. But this is not your natural state. That's why they're uncomfortable.
Because our natural state is love, like our Father.
And that's why we have a moral compass to know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
So it's that choice, but it's just like, yeah, that's where trauma, everybody has something that you can choose how you take that and handle it. Sometimes it's unfair and you could dive deeper
Yeah.
and darker to where it's like, yeah, some people are so depressed that that's the only thing they know because they've been with it for so long that they're not all stuck. It's like that deep down, it's like, I've been there, it's like, you don't know a way out. You see the light, but you just can't
You don't know how to get there.
get there, so it's just like,
Yeah,
you
you just gotta ask.
gotta ask for that.
Eventually, but a lot of times, kind of like what you talked about, it seems to take what some people call in like spiritual groups, but then just in general, they call it like the dark night of the soul. It seems to take a rock bottom,
Uh-huh.
right? Where you are saying, look, I am ready to drop everything that I thought I knew, right? Like the way that I've been doing things is not working. I surrender, right?
Capisci? Capisci?
So
Don't ask
I-
her if she's
um,
understanding.
a really helpful tool that I came up with is talking about like inviting these thoughts and feelings in for tea,
Yeah, that's
right?
Yep.
So imagine who you truly are, right? The you that is spirit, that is untouched by any trauma, right? Because your spirit is not at all affected by anything that happens in this dream of the world,
It's immortal.
right?
It's forever.
And cannot be affected, cannot be made guilty, bad, cannot be hurt by anything in this dream of the world, etc., right? So imagine you that is untouched by this dream of the world is sitting next to peace, right? Is sitting next to just like total peace and love and having a cup of tea, right? And then there's this knock at the door, and a thought, a feeling, an emotion, right, comes in and is just like screaming about their grief, about their trauma, about what happened to them, about the fear that they experience, about the betrayal they experience, whatever emotion is coming up, right? And you're sitting there with peace, right? Having a cup of tea, and you say, "Oh, come on in, join us. I will listen to you." Right? And so then the thought can come in and express itself totally. All of the shadow, all of the hurt can come up in that safe space, right? Where who you really are is having tea with peace. All of these things can come up, and you just say, "Thank you for telling me." And then maybe it leaves and maybe it comes back, recognizing that who you really are is always there having tea with peace. and these emotions, these thoughts, these experiences, even traumatic experiences, are only visitors, right? They are not actually affecting you, and they are not actually affecting your peace.
They're only
Right?
thoughts.
What can
That's
what
they are.
what seems to happen, however, is the thought comes in, you're having tea with peace, the thought comes in and says, for example, I'm not going in there to have tea with you guys. Like, I don't want to calm down. You have to come into my world. Right? And so then instead of recognizing your identity is one with spirit, not with body. Right? So identity is one with spirit. That is your true identity. Your identity is not with the body. Right? When we recognize the identity is one with spirit, and spirit is always having tea with peace, right? But if a thought comes in and says, nope, you're the body, this is your shit, you got to come out here, right? The identity seems to go with the body away from spirit and peace, right? And then we identify with the thought, with the feeling, with the experience, whether it's traumatic or not traumatic at all,
Mhm.
right? Doesn't matter. But it's recognizing, oh, there seems to be an error in identity, right? If we're identifying with these thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
They become very real. They feel very real. When you believe it, it's like, oh, I am a human. I only have so much time.
And we're not trying to deny the experience,
Mhm.
right? We're recognizing that it is not your identity.
And that's where
That's where the
Right.
freedom comes in.
grounding myself, coming back and reattaching spiritually. The Lord is there. The love, it's not just love, but the bigger power, which is empathy and forgiving for all your traumas, yourself. That's how I learned to accept was first I had to forgive myself and have empathy towards myself. And that's what was the key to unlock sobriety, that journey, but also what caused those traumas were those who didn't believe me or because of the traumas or us, you know, prevent all that from happening. It's you can you answer that your the question if you ask yourself all of those traumas, whoever caused it, can you forgive them? Can you love them? And I'm just like, I love your enemy. I was like, ah.
Yeah. It's
I'm like,
tough.
are you kidding?
What we
Yeah.
learn,
But
is
when you learn that your
Yeah,
enemy is
exactly.
actually you, right? That you and the enemy is one, because we're all the extension of God Himself.
yeah, when
When you see your enemy clearly, it's like, oh, he's lost, he's lost. He's
confused.
confused
Yeah.
with the wrong way. When you see them like that, you start to see them like a little kid, like, oh, I can't be mad at him.
Yeah, that's why I stand.
You're
I
right.
feel like.
Yes.
Now it's super hard to do because I had someone cut me off, which triggered all these past trauma events that I tried to block out. I was like, I'm sorry you feel that way. And he just was flabbergasted.
Yeah.
And they don't know. So that's it.
Yeah, so
Yeah, if you show empathy,
yeah,
to those, it's like you don't want to. That's like
it's
why.
the love, you're showing them love, and they're like, what is this? I don't know what this is.
Yeah, they are
Exactly, they're
expecting
confused, yeah.
that.
They accept it, they only want like a reaction
That they
that they
understand.
understand.
Yeah,
So when you
Yeah.
offer this, it's just like why you have a choice. It's just like when Jesus was, went on this journey of betrayal and all this. It's
Yeah.
like those who were there, his followers, it's like you have a choice to like he couldn't be saved. He had to go on this, but it's like you want like you still follow. But it's there's that the whole betrayal, and so then it's like you have that choice, but it's the why. It's like it's like you wouldn't hurt a baby or hurt someone that never did anything to you, and yeah, that's like that also ties into like bullying, as well. It's just like, well, that kid didn't do like I catch myself doing that sometimes. It's like you don't mean to, but it's just like it hurts
Uh-huh.
others because you don't know. So it's like you gotta just be careful, like sometimes you don't mean to. And it can be an accident, that's where empathy comes, it's like, yeah, I forgive the bullies. That torment, they didn't know that they were probably doing that, so it's
Yeah.
like, if I spoke up at that time and be like, hey. Feelings. Um. Or I feel sorry you feel that way, because it could have been prevented instead of just being angry and be like, hey, they don't understand.
Yeah,
So it's like, you have to tie into it too and forgive yourself and go, like, hey, I'm glad it happened, you learned, but it's also like, now you know what to do with that
yeah,
if it comes back around.
yeah,
So I'm just like, I'm sorry you feel that way. Really awkward to do, like it takes practice, and I'm still getting there. I just achieved that, yeah, as of just like a couple of months ago, couple
Nice.
of weeks actually. Feels like time's been going by quick.
yes, quicker and quicker.
Um,
Uh-huh. Time is a whole other discussion.
it
It really is.
feels like
Yeah.
eternity.
Yeah.
But it goes by so quick.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I got so much time. I only, turn 25 in a couple of months, and it's like, yeah, I got so much. People are talking, hey, you got all this time, but I'm like, well, it's I do have all this time, but it's like,
Yeah.
it's really what you choose to do with that time.
Yes.
You could either do it with distraction,
Yeah.
or you can go out there.
And love.
Yeah, like I just got another people always judge, but I just like I'm just what you choose to do with your time and money. I just chose to invest it with love. I chose love and just like to a chance to meet